Good evening, man and woman in the house. Good evening, fellow citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria who are here. Good evening, fellow Africans, Italians who are in this presence. I want to thank specially, with special honor, the president of the community here. Good evening, great man. Good evening, Dr. Ifeji. I want to thank so specially the president of Esan Cultural Forum for organizing this event that will come here to share a wonderful moment like this. I want to thank so specially those who made it possible, even for me particularly, to be here this evening. All the people that came with me all the way from Milan, I thank you, I appreciate you so much. I want to thank also specially the man I call my lion. He is no other one than Samson Hodge, the president, national president of all the Nigerian associations in Italy. So I am invited to speak here just for a short moment as the president of Nigerian Union Milan. And because of my limited time as I am allowed, I would say there is an approach I prefer to use. That approach is that I wouldn't want to dwell so much in the intellectual jingoism and all that blah blah. But I would prefer to come down to an immediate level. And you know, when an old man talks in Africa, he uses proverbs and illustrations. And I was listening to one of our cultural folk songs or cultural dance, the Hofia war dance. And I was listening very closely, not just to the music, but to the lyrics, the words they were delivering. He was telling a story that touched me, and I tried to compare it even in this very time that we live. It was a story of the legendary movement of their forefather, where they came from, how they migrated until they found a place where they settled that became today, in particular, Ohafia in Igbo land. And in this movement of their forefathers, something happened along the way. There were a few brothers and friends that left their place of origin and they started wandering in the wild bush of that time. And along the way, they fought lions, they fought every other wild animal, and then they came to a place, to the first place they saw people. Now, those people received them and welcomed them, but something happened again. The people received them and gave them food. These people, because they traveled a long way, they were so hungry that in the process of sharing and eating the food, they broke the plate and broke the pot. The people said, what kind of people are so wild like this? Please, we cannot stay with you people. And then they left the place. They traveled again. They came to the second place. When they got there, the people accepted them. They gave them food to eat. They broke the plate and broke the pot again. But the people said, we can still tolerate you. But another thing still happened. They went to the bush to set a trap. But instead of their trap catching the wild animal, the trap caught the dog of the people. And trouble came from there, and the people still drove them away. They went to the third place. When they got there, the people were so many. They said, if we try to stay among these people, they will kill all of us if trouble comes any day. So they decided to avoid the people and go to the fourth place. When they saw the fourth place, they said, yes, these people can even contend them. If they want us to fight, we will fight them. So we can even consume them and take over the land and stay there. But somehow the idea, the development, what they were planning leads to the people. But the people now sent emissaries to them and said, no, you don't need to fight us. Come, let us make an oath of life, oath of blood and life, so that we can live together as one people. And so they did. And the people received them and joined the people, and they became one people called Ohafia today. The reason why I'm citing this example is that I want to state clearly to us who are listening in this very forum that human movement on earth has come from origin. It did not start today. You might hear even the Italian people who are calling us immigrants, or even in Africa, who can call Igbo people immigrants too, that even we that call other people immigrants came from somewhere also. So it happened in American history, so in other people's history. That this movement of people will not even stop. It will continue today, it might even continue tomorrow. But what is important when people are meeting one another, something happens. It does happen when even children meet themselves. They will first of all watch the face that you behold. If the face becomes friendly, you become friendly and they begin to play. But if the face becomes so frowned and threatening, then you become cautious. So what am I saying? That we are in a foreign land. And I was thinking, is there going to come a time when all the black people that find themselves here will all go back to Africa? Is it possible? No. When the white men came to Africa, the Africans thought that, these people have come, they waste their time, one day they will go. Have the white people left Africa up to today? That is the nature of human movement and human immigration and human migration, integration that we are here to talk about. But I find two elements prevalent in this relationship when people find each other. It is either based on fear or it is based on love and hope. I will have just one few messages, both for us and both for the Italian people, in whose place we are like immigrants called today. I want to state clearly that if we remove fear and suspicion against one another, it means that hope and love will find a stronger and larger space among the two people. Therefore, my message to the Italian people, more so to the politicians, that I hear today, I watched one of them say the other day, talking about immigrants in a manner of fear, frightening their own people, that immigrants are so frightening, that are criminals that come to take the job and so forth and so on. Then, are the immigrants really so? It is not so. But in the other hand, are the Italian people all bad? No. No. It is only those who are bad of preaching fear among Italian people are not even up to 10%. Even the criminals that might come among us are not up to even 1%. And that is why the rest of majority of the people, of the black people, of the Italians, let us know and realize that there is a common future to share. And that this future is inevitable because time is never marching back. Time is always marching forward and expanding. Therefore, there is opportunity for the future. You can see that there are many Italians married to Africans, both men and women. And a new generation is entirely being given birth to. And this new generation, you cannot take them back. They have a future to share together. So, I will say, among us, among Italians, let nobody teach us how to hate, because we have the opportunity and the power to love one another. That is the central message I give to you. The practical aspects that have been spoken about is for us to make effort in building this love, in building into this hope. So with these few words, I say, brethren, let us be hopeful. Let us struggle. Let us stand for something good for today and tomorrow. And another God, our faith shall not fail us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, I will beg every one of us, let us silence our phone. Please, you are using your ringing tool to distract us. Because we are in the presence of God. We want to digest this message very well. Try to live inside us. So please, the next item on the program is an induction of a sister here. So please, once I call your name, come down to the podium. She's no other person than Mrs. Lucy Owode. Please put your hands together for her, Mrs. Lucy Owode. She's going to be inducted as a matron to this Esan Cultural Forum. Please, other matron and patron in the house, please join. Other matron and patron in the house, so please join her.
Good evening once more, ladies and gentlemen. This is, as rightly pointed out by the Master of Ceremony, this is a very unique section or segment of today's program. Today, Madam Lucy will be officially inducted as a matron to this honorable platform, Esan Cultural Forum. It is a certificate of honor, and I hereby do this. This certificate is presented on this day, the 17th of November, in honor of Mrs. Owode, Lucy Owode, as the patriarch of Esan Cultural Forum Italy, and on her investiture as a matron to the platform. Please give her a hand. Please give her a round of applause.
Thank you very much. I want to use this opportunity to thank every one of you here. My president, my honorable president, and my vice president, God bless you all. My Nigeria people, I greet you. Don't mind my English, of course. I didn't expect this award they give to me, because I'm very happy. I don't know what to say, because it's unexpectedly. Because the way I'm doing something, I think that they don't have me in their mind. But the way they just called me, they said that I should come and take my award. I'm very happy. It's good to be good in business. Anything you are doing, continue to be doing it. Because when you have the spirit of achievement and spirit of doing something, nobody will take it away from you. Because when you continue to be doing good, God will reward you. Because I'm here from almost 20-something years. I'm in Italy. But what my president and the heartbeat of Nigeria, what you people are saying here today, I'm very grateful. Because when you are in Italy here, you have to have patience to stay with them. Because if Italian people, if you want to stay with them, you will mellow down yourself. To gain everything from them. Anything you want to gain from them, you want to bring yourself down from them before you gain anything from them. Because I'm married to an Italian man. Because when you want to gain them, you will just loud down, because we are here. This is hustling land. Because you want to gain anything from Italian people, you have to mellow down yourself. You have to have patience. When you get patience, you get everything from them. And the second thing is that when they say that a minute can help, a minute cannot give you $1 million in your pocket. So my fellow Nigerians, I thank you very much. People are here this evening. You have to have patience to get what you want. Thank my president. God bless you, my vice president.
Thank you. The message is coming from different angles. You just heard the last one. We have to mellow down. And the only way for you to mellow down later, you will know. So please, I'm going to call on the guest speakers. That's the guest speaker of today's seminar, of today's forum. Others that have been speaking, they are the supportive speakers. But the main speaker of today, and I also tell us now, as is delivering his message, teaching us the way forward, please, you can put your pen and biro down, your paper down, write out something, because there will be time for question and answer. But please, I beg us, let us ask reasonable questions. There are some questions which are not reasonable, so please, we don't want to embarrass you, so please don't embarrass us with your question as well. If you know what you want to ask, I believe we have some persons in the house. You can call them, tell them this is what you want to ask. They will also lecture you. Ask it in this direction so that the speaker can give you a good answer. Everybody know what I'm trying to say. For some of us, we want to ask questions. First of all, insult the speaker, which is not proper. So please, So please put your hands together as I make welcome the speaker of today. Is no other person than Engineer Ifechi. Please put your hands together for him.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. It's really a pleasure to be with you this evening. My honorable chairman of the Esan Cultural Forum, Bahama, great representatives from different cultural groups, Comune de Bahama, and the chairman of Union of Nigerian Associations with me. We thank you all for your presence. You see, I have to show my appreciation and thank greatly the activators of today's event because they have demonstrated the ability of having a public interest. Thank you so much. I am very much convinced that if everybody lives well, everybody enjoys it. Thank you so much, Esan Cultural Forum, Parma, and National. I hope and very much wish you remain with this great attitude. It is really recommendable. My name is Ifeji. I am a Nigerian like all of you here. I left Nigeria to further my education some years ago when the political and economic situation were better than today. Unfortunately, the revolving political and economic situation in Nigeria left a lot of us abroad. I hope we were well attentive to the introductory speeches we have had so far, as much as that of the chairman of this Cultural Forum, Mr. Christian, which I personally enjoyed. However, I would want us to reflect a little bit on immigration. I think immigration in most cases is an unnatural phenomenon. That is, it is provoked by human nature, either voluntarily or involuntarily. We migrate from our place of birth, region, country, or continent in search of a place that can afford us at least a hope for a brighter future. Because of political reasons, mismanagement of public funds, wars, hunger, natural disasters, search of knowledge for those who come in for studies, health problems, and so forth and so forth. All these causes are triggered by men. Think of some of what we consider as natural disasters. If we study them quite closely, we will see that this is just a disrespect to some natural equilibrium. So you see, we are all responsible for our problems. Now we are all immigrants, whichever way our situation falls into, and we should not lose our motive of migration and our goals, which is very important. We are now in another country, an environment very much different from what we are used to. It becomes important for us to reset ourselves to adapt to this new place and to our new friends. There is something very common in the life of all human beings, and that is our personal aspiration. One is always in debt with himself. I mean, everyone wishes the best for himself. As a result, we sometimes compare our situation, our personal state of progress, with that of any more progressive person we admire or we want to be like. This may establish a sort of personal conflict in us. The intensity of this conflict may prove a driving force that can influence our behavior. It is now left on us to control this conflict as a useful resource. Like I said earlier on, finding yourself in a different country and continent entails a fast adjustment in almost everything to enable you maintain your goals. Because when you are leaving your country, you have something in mind. I don't think any person left Nigeria to come here to play. Integration is our capacity to form part of, to incorporate, or to include ourselves in this system different from ours. At this point, it becomes relevant to explain that culture, way of life, food, and behavior of people or nation are purely dependent on the geographical features, climatic conditions, and zones a country is situated. So it is no shame that we are not used to certain things and have to learn them. Integration in its full sense begins with knowledge of the language of communication. It is absurd, I think it is totally funny, to relate and have a profound understanding with somebody by mere gesture and imagination. We should therefore try to utilize all the opportunities provided by various communes in our area to learn Italian language. I can tell you from my own personal experience that without good knowledge of Italian language, we are left with a lot of imagination in every discussion. Well, this reminds me a funny experience about stay permit, what we call permesso di soggiorno. I remember a week after my arrival in Perugia, where I did my Italian language course in the University of Perugia, I went to the questura to procure a stay permit. I was advised by the officer in charge that the permit is called permesso di soggiorno, and that on any event of its demand, I should show it. This was quite understood, and of course, I had no problem about it. It happened that I took a bus, and on approaching to a bus stop, quite a good number of people were about to alight from the Salim Park bus, and I was stuck in the middle. What I heard was permesso, permesso, permesso. It immediately came to my mind what the police officer told me just a few minutes earlier. In the event of its demand, you have to show it. It took me some time to unfold it from the file in my handbag, but before I could do that, they were all gone. I proceeded to the next bus stop, where I went for a coffee. At the back came a small boy, who walked directly to me, and on getting closer to me said, "Permesso." Wow, you can be a policeman, I demanded. It was only this time I realized that he was not asking for my permesso di soggiorno. You see, this is not very much different from the difficulty we encounter in our homes in Nigeria. I give you another example of an Igbo man. In order to show his affluence, because he's a successful businessman, donated ₦1 million in a wedding and promised to give more in case any person donates more than he did. The chancellor happened to be around, the chancellor of the Anambra State University. In his own turn, made a prolonged speech in English, and at the end proclaimed his full moral support to the event. While people were cheering and clapping hands, the businessman was surprised how much he could attract such an ovation. He stood up to inquire how much could be the value of moral support. You see, this makes it very clear that language isolation could be a problem. And we have to work very hard. You see, I would have preferred to address you in Italian language because this is the language of the place we are. And for us to dialogue with our friends, we need to do that. However, in our future event, I hope we need to make a difference. We have different cultures and beautiful traditions, and we are proud of them because of their rich values. But this notwithstanding, I believe we have much to gain by learning or accommodating a good part of other people's culture. I believe and support the adage that says, when you are in Rome, do as Romans. I think a visitor should behave and live like a visitor. Respect is quite reciprocal, and unless you respect people, people will respect you. We are used to a type of life in an open because of our hot climate, because our hot climate permits that. This invariably entails talking with a loud voice, because we constantly stay in the open environment. However, this is entirely different in a closed environment where everybody talks with a mild voice, because speaking with a loud voice tends to be unreasonable and disturbing because it resounds when you're in a building. Everybody is free and deserves the right of a composed privacy and peace. Our adherence to some of these norms will increase a lot of admiration and acceptance. Good behavior and responsibility of an individual are shown by his attitude to laws and order. No integration is possible without the obedience of laws. The respect of laws of our host country increases trust, builds an accommodating atmosphere, and increases mutual relationship. Friendship is normally based on trust and behavior, and unless you possess these factors, it may be difficult for you to excel. It is absolutely true that it needs to dance a tango, but it is also very correct that your partner's response depends on your movement. Our good behavior should play our complementary card and special joy. Our involvement in the affairs of where we live is important. If possible, we should participate in their gatherings because people consider you as one of them and greet you if you are not strange to them. This widens your area of friendship and relationship with people. Keeping on their own may arouse suspect, negativity, and fear of unknown. Unfortunately, we are sometimes turned by bad images created by only few immigrants, but this is just something temporary. It takes only a short while to know who you really are. Yes, everybody is not the same, and we all have different attitudes in confronting and accepting challenges. This is correct, but difficulties are better resolved by two heads. The more friends you keep around you, the less isolated you become, and the easier you fix your problems. Try it, and you will say it told me, and because it really works. Avrei voluto fare il mio intervento in italiano, visto che siamo in Italia e la lingua parlata è italiano. Ma l'esigenza di fare arrivare il mio messaggio forte e chiaro mi ha costretto a parlare in una lingua diversa. Penso che sia giusto scusarmi con gli amici italiani che sono qui e sono sicuro che mi capiranno. E l'immigrazione di cittadini stranieri nella nostra provincia è un fenomeno a cui assistiamo in maniera costante già da alcuni anni. Molte cose sono state fatte a livello di aiuto e inserimento nella società lavorativa e non. E molte cose sono ancora da fare. Di questo siamo grati e vogliamo dimostrare anche noi che vogliamo fare la nostra parte. Il più importante motivo per cui siamo qua oggi è proprio per parlare dell'integrazione. Quando io penso di questo tema, penso proprio di una cosa che si fa in due, cioè da una parte uno che si integra e dall'altra parte la comunità dove si deve integrare. Credo che è importante per compiere questa nostra parte, erano più o meno il sugo del mio discorso, quel piccolo discorso che ho appena fatto. Quindi imparare a parlare la lingua italiana per poter dialogare e farsi capire, vivere in rispetto della legge e ordine, partecipazione nell'evento di festa importante del paese in cui viviamo. Credo che se ti conoscono, ti salutano e vivi più felice. Eviti che la gente abbia paura di uno straniero sconosciuto, perché quando non ti conoscono diventa un problema. Perché io credo che noi abbiamo tutta questa possibilità di poter fare tanti amici, essere amici con gli altri, perché lo so che siamo bravi, io vedo tutto quanti qua, vedo come siamo messi, quindi praticamente io mi auguro che riusciremo con questo intento a cercare di farci strada in questo paese, perché anche noi, questo è il nostro paese. Grazie.
Please put your hands together for him once more. Thank you very much, our guest speaker. I hope we are compiling our questions. So, but before then, ladies and gentlemen, and I know how many of us are happy to see something like this next time. Please clap for yourself. Don't be surprised when I'm talking like this. You might wonder, this man looks like a pastor. I'm a man of God as well. Because I come in two different forms, MC, old doctor, Pastor B. But the other I will not say it because this is not a public place. This place is not a public place. People know the other name, I don't say it outside like that. Because I'm putting on suit. If I see that kind of name, when you see me outside, let's say this man is a responsible pastor. So please, if we are in support for such thing to happen next time, and we know this association in question, it is non-profit organization, and everything that you are saying here today, it costs money for you to get this hall. You know how much it is. If you snap picture here now, you put it on Facebook, people will wonder, look at this man. You know, most pictures we snap here, they will think we just came from I don't want to call any village, because if you call now, if I want to go now, some people might attack me. Why did you call the name of my village? So let me leave it that way. But when you snap here now, they will say, yeah, this my brother actually is staying in Europe. And for me to maintain that pace, it's all about this thing. Kuli, crash, money, ego, sodi. Anytime you are calling money, your mind is always full. Men of God here, they know when I say bless the man of God. So please, the PRO, please, whatsoever you feel that you have on your home, an envelope is going to pass around. Is it an envelope that going to pass around? So please, the ushers, they are going to move around. Just signify, they will give you the envelope, and you drop whatever you have for us to jumpstart this program. We want something like this to be coming up at least once a month in different cities. Thank God, Palma, you started it. Reggio Emilia, you are there. Modena, Bologna, Piacenza. Any city we want to go, preach the gospel. This is the only way we can preach the gospel in a quiet note. So please, take. Take the envelope. Thank you very much. We are not forcing, but we are begging to make the program a success next time. PRO, please look well, look well. Thank you very much, SARS. Thank you very much, ma'am. It is not annual harvest to just drop something inside now. We are coming back to collect it. We are not saying we should take it home and go and prepare and put something inside. Whatever you have now, drop it inside. I am waiting. Somebody should be going around. He said, what? Let them see, put it here. Duro is part of it. The president just spoke with me now. In case you want to write something, that will not be good, president. Whatever we have now, we collect it, it's better. We don't need check. At times, some check, they do pass. Whatever you have, just drop it now. Okay, in case they want to write their name. Okay. No, president, that one is they will write. Next time we'll come and collect it. No. Whatever they have now, let them drop it. They can drop now. Later you say, no, I still want to support more, but I have little, but drop the little first. Then we can give you barrel, you write something. The aftermath, then you bring down, but immediately we need something. Why is going on, please? Because the next item is the question. You are free. We have so many people that have addressed us here today. They might, one way or the other, pull you off balance. But for you to be stable and balanced, you need to ask that question. And when they give you the right answer, then you'll be balanced. Because we don't want you to leave this place unstable. We want every one of us that came here to be stable. So, thank you very much for those of us that supported. So please, if you know you have any question, signify by raising your hand. How many of us have questions? Okay. We just need 1, 2, 3 questions. That we need 3 persons. Feel free to ask a question, sir.
Good evening, everybody.
Evening. Excuse me. Please, I don't know why you are asking your question, because I'm not the chief speaker. So, because when you are looking at, you want to ask me a question. If you ask me a question, you might not get the right answer, because I was not the lecturer of today. So, I don't know if you can identify the person you want to ask the question, address the question to.
Is the president of Esan...
Mr. President, please. This way, the question is directly for you. So, go on, sir. Thank you.
Sir, without missing word, I want to say I'm very grateful to be here. And I am very proud that we have digital leaders like you who can come up with such an event. I want to ask and also to see if it's possible to organize seminars like this, not only in this place, among the different, let me say, close to this area where we have this particular scene happening. If we can get people from there, bring them to this occasion more often, in that way we sensitize them that things like this, they shouldn't be involved in it. Because like the other speaker said, the ones who are this violent are very few, but they are very visible. So I'd like you to address us on that. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much for that brilliant question. And if, for example, you listen carefully to my address, you would have recalled that that question has been answered in a way, but meanwhile, I still have to throw in one or two lights to the question you just asked. And that question per se is actually a problem because we've been talking about that. And you know that in an event like this is highly intellectual anyway. And you could hardly find the people who we actually want to address, you know, having the opportunity to bring them down to a platform like this and they listen to us. So we devised a means that, for example, the Nigeria Association, where some of these persons could be, and the associations, that is why you discovered that all the leaders of the associations in Parma and in Reggio Emilia were invited to this place. And these are the persons that could easily get in touch with the people that we want to really catch, you know. So in that sense, I want to tell you that all of you who are gathered here today are leaders. And we believe strongly that this message that you have received here today, we go home and you go to disseminate the message down to the right sources that we want them to go. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, my president. Please, my brother, who are you directing your question to?
I'm directing my question to the president of Esan Cultural Group Forum.
Okay, please, go on, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Edward Oberojime. And I just want to say a very big thank you for being in this gathering. And I also appreciate people that I saw here. And I believe and I hope someday, somehow, this conference has to be continued so that we enlighten others. This is just my question. Being in Nigeria, living here in Italy, we all know we are all Mcjonas here. And we are facing some challenges, difficulties. For example, let me use one question. To find an apartment here in Italy, being in Nigeria, is very difficult for us. Even though you have all the credentials to acquire an apartment, but still, they will still give you a tough time for you to acquire that apartment based on the name Nigerians. What can we do to eradicate this name and so that we can live freely in this country? Thank you.
Once again, I want to thank you for that. And I think at different fora we've discussed this. And why the media came earlier on, for some of you who were here, would agree with me that the interview that I granted to Gazzetta di Parma, we highlighted this. And we told them, not only in the area of accommodation, we talked to them in the area of job placement too. Because if you actually want to take the people out of the street, you need to, get them accommodated, and they have to have a means of livelihood. These are very, very challenging issues. And when I started with the correspondent from Gazzetta di Parma, I told him of my personal experience that about 4 or 5 months back now, I was searching for an apartment to rent, and each time I see an advert and I place a call to the landlord or the landlady. By the time he or she gets the voice from the other side of the telephone, and that person is a Nigerian, one person he asks, that person is a black person, maybe a voice from a black person, he asks if you are a Nigerian, and if you are one, they turn you down. So this question is very, very important. But for us, we don't really have a solution to that now. But That is the message. That is one of the key messages. And it's like you were here when I granted that interview. It's very, very important that the authorities should know about this. Because a lot of Nigerians, especially Nigerians, we don't have hopes. We don't get jobs. But jobs are coming up now, right? I just want to believe that the situation will change. So for that, for your question, we are doing seriously about that. Thank you very much. The lunar president had something to add to your question so that you'll be okay as well. Thank you, Mr. President.
Angela, please, I don't know whether I'm permitted to sit down, but if not, I could start. But I hope you know it's a seminar. Let me say something. The person who asked the question, I believe you understand, but there's nothing wrong about it. It hasn't to do with basically Esan as a cultural forum. Don't forget what they stand for. First of all, it has to do with the stigma that is attached to how we do things. And you remember the keynote speaker when he mentioned that when you don't know somebody very well, you begin to have some sort of phobia, mistrust. And ask yourself some questions. Some few years back, where these kind of situations happening. So something is fundamentally wrong. And let me say something. You see, Americans is always saying the beauty is from the inside out, not from the outside in. You see, we have not told ourselves the truth. When we tell ourselves the truth, we will know that the reason why these things happen is that we have left the real way, and that is where this culture issue comes out. We've left the traditional way we do things, how we behave when we come from a background that is well trained to do other things. And you know what happens? People who are very opportunists take advantage of that. That is why you see the politicians keying into what? Scoring political mileage to use that as example. And if you remember, the representative said something here. It is very, very few who go out and have this label of the Nigeria. And the word Nigeria sounds everywhere. Let me tell you why sometimes also Nigeria is always on the platform, on the forefront. People get scared of us when they hear our name. Maybe you don't know that because of our potential. But at the same time, we have even changed that thing into negativity again. So we need to find out. That's why even I wanted to tell the Esan president. I remember when the Palmer people say, from Rachel everywhere, they're doing our best. And I must give kudos to the Nigerian associations everywhere, the land and stuff, because each time, because last time, there was a boy, is it from Mission, that boy that was killed in the prison of Benin. The boy that was killed in the prison. You remember there was an Asian boy that was arrested and he was killed in the prison. And immediately I was called upon and I called him. And he had to go there. Nobody knows all these things. He had to even call the parents to happen that a lot of things have happened. And now this is somebody who is there dead. The parents doesn't even know that the child was already dead here. So let me say something. It is incumbent in all of us. It's not about person thing. That's why we want to thank those who organized this occasion. Sorry, I'm taking this time. That it is now time, if we can use this crowd for things to go well, you need a very few committed people. You don't need crowd. Crowd makes noise. So when you are committed to it, they will fear you. And you see this little what I call little elements who makes noise. The moment we stand up and charge them, they will disappear. In fact, these same Egyptians you see, you can't see them no more. So I need you also, again, I want you also to please, it is not just one issue. They have started to drive this particular thing. You need to also look for pastors who run churches around here. Some of them are very positive people. When you talk to them, you tell them, but some of them, I wonder how they communicate with God, of course. So they tend to see it as when you come and they see these things, they don't say it. And they think that by the time they have a crowd in the church, that one day they will come there to do the same thing they're doing there because they know the respect for God. So you begin to ask some pastors to help also disseminating this information is very important. Then also periodically, I want this in collaboration with the union here to stand up a rally throw up a rally. Do you know what that does? It attracts the Italian partnership to now say, we think we know these people. And when you are talking about asking something from them, you can have now an access. That's a channel. And so on. Thank you very much.
Please, I just want to add something quickly to this. Getting around, when a problem arises, sometimes if you are smart enough, you create business opportunity immediately. What do I want to say here? That yes, we have this problem of getting houses and so forth and so on. Our businessmen here should start thinking of how to get into such business of estate and immobiliary, to begin to buy and create houses and be rented to Nigerians. It's a community empowerment. It's not only in houses, in other things. If we begin to create our own empowerment circles, our own business circles, like the Chinese and other people are doing, it's going to give us at the long run a new power with which we will survive here. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope we are moving in the right direction. So please, the next person to ask a question is our sister in our midst. Sister, please. And you will tell me who you want to direct the question to, so don't ask me question.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please, I would have loved to ask the Nigerian president here in Parma, but I learned he has gone.
We still have so many presidents here, they will answer the question. So, ask the question. If there are no other presidents here, we have Nigerians that stays here in Parma, they can answer the question. Ask your question.
All right. My name is Mrs. Chikodi Unyegesi, and my question is this, because he talked about Akaza de Akolensa here in Parma, and the radio, we run a little organization where we normally organize food, clothes for the less privileged and those sleeping in an uncompleted building. And several times, police do go there to embarrass them. So I wanted to ask, normally in case anything like that comes up, who should we contact and how are we going to get in contact with them? Because really, not only Nigerians, foreigners, they really need help in region, at least. Radio Parma, I don't think there's a distance, or there's anyone we can also talk to.
It's a synergy.
Yeah. So there's anyone we can also speak to in radio. I believe they can also direct us. Thank you very much.
So, thank you. They will give me the power to answer the question. So, my sister, sit down, Loa, answer the question.
Thank you very much.
So, in that area, we have the Radio Association president, the president of Mr. Shedrack. I should even please stand up for recognition in case the Nigerians don't know him. That's the people that have together for him. So, we can meet up with him and he will give you the right direction and the right way and the nice way to do this. But all the same, put your hands together for them. They are doing nicely, at least trying to help those that are sleeping outside. If we can do this, and at the end of the day, those deviants among us, they will change. It's just a matter of time. Changes will come. And you heard from the donor president when he said, our pastors, they have a lot to do. My president here, he will bear me witness. I've talked with him times without number that let us visit all these our pastors and tell them, what are you doing? Because most of these boys, they do come to your church. They sing, they dance, they pray. But at the end of the day, they do something contrary. You will not tell me you don't see them on social media. The last event that happened in Radio Villa, those boys, no one will tell me that doesn't attend church on Sunday. But the pastor is aware. Is it that you are afraid to talk to the member directly so that tomorrow he will not pay off or will not come to church? Let him go. In the present era that we are into, he said something. We don't look for multitude, no, but you look for the quality ones. Are you getting me? When you go for quantity, you will miss it. But when you get quality, you will be on the right track. Thank you. The last person that will ask this question. The last person, please. Ask your question. Who is with my mic? I saw the VP, president of Mr. Gid. He said he has a question. Please tell him that we've passed. So the next. Okay, you want to represent Mr. Gid. Thank you very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Benjamin Ejemoro from Ohanes and Igbo Palma. I want to ask a very simple question, and I'm directing my question to the president of Esan Cultural Forum. I will give an example. The first time I entered here in Palma, and I know nobody, and the first people I met was the train station. So the first thing they asked me, which part of Nigeria are you from? I told them that I'm an Igbo man. So they directed me to Yaya's shop, this man here, this gentleman here. And going there, I met somebody that I know, somebody that can speak my language. From there, I believe I get integrated to the system of Palma, at least. I want to ask, most Asian boys that are here in Palma, most of them are good because I deal with Asian people. Most of them are very, very good. But the major problem that they are having is the first people they meet here in Palma. So if it's possible, or is there any system created or something that will be done? So any person that enters here in Palma, the first person, that is somebody to advise them or something of that nature. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that question. Well, as a matter of fact, you know that Nigeria is a very large country of a population of over 200 million or 200 million to approximate. And Esan as a tribe is one of the least ethnic nationality among the multinational ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. We have over 250 ethnic groups. And Esan is one of the least, I think the smallest out of the ethnic groups. But we discovered that we are so popular, that is by way God wants it to be, it is not by our power. It's like we share like a second or third position in terms of popularity number in Nigeria. According to your question, we do not really have the logistics, the wherewithal to handle that, because it's like, throwing the responsibility of a non-governmental organization to us. We don't have that capacity. I just have to be frank with you. And the group that has that capacity, for example, if you come into a city, the first thing you need to do is to look for an association of Nigeria, and there you have to enlist yourself and attend meetings regularly, and you will be known, and that is where all the assistants are going to come. At least, as a matter of fact, you're going to feel comfortable. I want to tell you that since I came, I've spent like 12 years in this country now. Just last year that I came to join the Nigerian Association, and since then, you could see what we are doing, It's so wonderful. The idea is not only coming from Esan or the Esan Cultural Forum, but it's coming also from the Nigerian Association that I belong. So I want to advise us that wherever you are, if you have not joined the Nigerian Association, you should please try and do so. You will have a lot of things and a lot of experiences to gain and to share. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I believe that was a vote of thanks. Thank you.
It is with great honor I stand before you to give you
vote of thanks. I deem it great honor and privilege to propose this vote of thanks on this memorable occasion on behalf of Esan Cultural Forum. First, I would like to give God Almighty the glory for making today's occasion a resounding success. And special thanks go to our guest lecturer, Engineer Ifeji, and all the guest speakers who, despite their busy schedules, have found time to grace this occasion. My heartfelt thanks also goes to the distinguished invitees, President Thier, for accepting our invitations. A special gratitude to the media and all of you who work behind the screen for your continued interest in covering the event. Last but not the least, I thank all members of Esan Cultural Forum for your cooperation, moral and financial support in making this function a resounding success. God bless all of you, and I wish you all journey blessings to your respective destinations. Thank you all.
Before I will call on the pastor that will give us a closing prayer, please, I want to use this video to invite you all to our sister Gladys, who is celebrating her 50th birthday on the 8th of December at Galeno. Sister Gladys, please. That is the sister, 50 years. Please put your hands together for her. Some of you need to wonder if she's up to 50, that's why they are playing about. Since I was asked question that very day, if actually you are 50. That is the importance of traveling out of Nigeria. Imagine somebody of our age in Nigeria, 50 years. How will you describe her? That's why when I hear people say, Europe not good, I tell them, you try Libya. Yes, now, if you don't say not good, you try Libya, you will see. And when they say nothing lasts forever, I tell them, try Senegal perfume, you know that things last forever. So please, the Nigerian Embassy Rome, in collaboration with Nigeria in Diaspora Organization, Italy, and National Union of Nigeria Association in Italy, Nigeria-Italy Business and Investment Forum, all the Igbo men, they don't put here where. Thank God, see all the Asian people, then they said, oh, they'll put here too. Because see DMT, not be Igbo man, and Shama. So everybody will put here and grab it. Nigeria-Italy Business and Investment Forum 2018, 26 to 28 November 2018. Team, expanding investment and trade between Nigeria and Italy. Presentation, exhibition, B2B meetings, panel discussion, company visit. Contacts, Italy, Embassy of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Rome. The phone number is there. Nigeria Diplomatic Vista, the phone number is there. The email, everything, in case you want to be part of it. Later, we only have this. We only have this available. So please, later I'm going to see me, I'm going to snap the phone and phone. Obviously, I don't think you this copy. Because me myself, I want to enjoy too. So now maybe opportunity. So I have this one. So if you want it, for you to forget, you call, you snap it, put up for your DP, because that's the only place you can remember. Because if not be so, you have a copy and as you place it in your toilet. In case you are brushing your teeth, you'll be seeing it. And if you have more copy, you can make photocopy. You put it in your bedroom. While you're lying down, you'll be seeing it. 26 is coming. 26 is coming. And as you do, everything will be possible. So please, I'm going to call on my pastor. I call him my pastor because they have brought food to my table times without number. Please put your hands together as I make welcome. Caller, Pastor Caller Williams for a closing prayer.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, before Pastor Caller comes to the podium to render a closing prayer, I want to let you know that after that, we are going to have a group photograph. All of us, especially the representatives from the groups, from the associations, and our patrons and matrons should please come forth to let us have a good photograph. Pastor Kola, please.
Hallelujah. May we rise up as we close prayers. Father, we thank you for yet a wonderful meeting, and I know lives have been impacted. I thank you for those who are organized. You have given them the wisdom, which I believe is divine. I want to thank you for the impact that it will have both on us and people living on the street and in the street of Italy. We ask, Lord, for a change of spirit, for a change of name. We ask for a better Nigerians in diaspora, particularly in Italy. We ask, oh Lord, that we represent you well. We pray for as many in needs, both accommodation needs, document needs, and every other kinds of needs. We ask, Lord, from today that they shall begin to have testimony and reasons to give glory to your name for that. We pray for the Esan Forum and all the organizers that they will increase in wisdom, in might, and in strength as well. We also pray that you will give them the wisdom to curb the menace that is going on in the streets, giving wrong name both to the nation and to your own glory. We ask, O Lord, from today that everyone that has been here will not regret that they were here. We ask that we shall begin to make impacts, that generations after us will be blessed that they had us come before they came. In the name of Jesus, above all, we ask, Lord, that you direct our hearts towards you, not just from the lips, but from our hearts, the depth of our hearts, in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Father, that the next time the Esan Forum shall be gathering, it shall be bigger than this, it shall be better than this, it shall be with testimonies. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. God bless you.
Please, let's not be in the hurry to go. We have a very light refreshment for